Welcome, friends. Welcome to my channel. Today I bring you the problem of an LG inverter board. Yes, which has the error CH05. What does the error CH05 mean? It is the intercommunication error between the indoor unit and the outdoor unit. In the first place, you have to know how to analyze a failure. And the client tells us that the error CH5 that is presented on this electronic board is due directly to an intercommunication failure. Intercommunication between what? Which is from the outdoor unit and the board of the indoor unit? Yes. Here we have the integrated circuit, which is the one that communicates, that is, of this outdoor board, which communicates with the brain of the board, electronic of the indoor unit, which are the two that command the entire operation of our split air conditioner. So, in the first place, what we are going to do is understand the interconnection diagram. Well, as most will know, in air conditioners there is an indoor unit and an outdoor unit, an evaporator and a condenser. In inverter airs, the unit, evaporator has an electronic card, and the condenser unit also has an electronic card. This, unlike conventional equipment where only the indoor unit had an electronic card. Here, in the inverter equipment, the condenser also possesses an electronic card. So, we must know that, as I was telling you, it has an integrated circuit in each of the places, yes, which is the brain of each indoor unit and outdoor unit. The one that commands the whole equipment is the one from the evaporator unit. We have here an interconnection cable between the evaporator unit and the condenser unit, in which there is data transfer between one and another. And also, we have the line cable and the neutral cable. That is to say, we have three cables that interconnect our indoor unit with the outdoor unit. Here what can happen? An intercommunication error. It could be that the intercommunication cable is cut. Yes, that cable that you are going to see now. I'm going to show you. If it is cut, there is no signal transfer. Therefore, it is going to mark the error CH5. Yes. That is to say, there we have the first error, or the first failure that could be causing that error CH5. Another thing could be that the cables, the technician has connected them wrong. Yes. If the cables are crossed, it will also mark a CH5 error, because the electronic card could be reading anything. Another cause is that the fuse is blown, or that the card of the condenser unit is already shorted. So those could be the possible failures for which the equipment throws the CH5 error at me. Well, now to complete the explanation, we are going to see in the equipment already installed, you will see that there is a cable that energizes the card of the outdoor unit. Yes, this cable comes directly from the electrical connection. And then we have the intercommunication cable that we were talking about previously in the diagram. This cable is the one that carries the current and the signal toward the indoor unit. And this cable is the one that energizes the whole equipment and has L1. Neutral and ground. This is the cable that comes from the line of the house. No? Yes. It is not like in the previous airs that were plugged in. This comes directly from the line of the house. The signal cables are, in one we place the color black, in two we are going to place the color blue, and in three the color brown. Then we have the cable also for ground connection, which is that yellow-green that we all know. It goes connected to ground. Just as we placed here, we must plug it into the evaporator unit. In the indoor unit, now we will see here the electrical diagram. Here we can see the card, where the power cables enter, and where each of we do a zoom. And we can see L1, brown, L2, blue and ground, which is the green with yellow. Then here we can see 1, 2, 3 and ground, which are the cables that we saw today that go toward the indoor unit. So as we said, if we see that the intercommunication cables are fine and the power cable to the electronic board, then there yes we are going to pass already to what is the card. We are going to have to take and disassemble the equipment and only then remove the electronic board to check what possible failures it might have. This electronic board. So the first thing that we have to do is see if there is any melted component, any swollen component. Turn the board to several places and see it from all angles to see what can be found. On this board, what is found is that there is a spark mark. Look for yourselves how it burned that area. And well, there you can already know easily where the error is, let's say. Why it gives us the intercommunication error? Yes, so there we can see that there is a large spark mark. Therefore, we are going to turn on our multimeter. And we are going to enter first through the fuse to see what the fuse says. And this fuse marks for us that it is dead. It has to have continuity. And there we see that there is no continuity between in the fuse. Our multimeter is marking for us that the fuse has blown. So what we see, that the fault is in this place, yes. Because the spark mark that we had turned the board over was in this area. So we have to see what components are there that have failed. So we are going to remove all these components that are here and we are going to see what is the error. That gave us that spark mark back there on the board. So it must be verified very carefully. Here we have two components that have generated the spark mark. Yes, this is a resistor, apparently of 470 ohms. And this other component that has also generated a spark mark and has melted his. So we are going to verify those components. We measure the component of that resistor of 470 ohms to see what it gives us. 478 ohms. Yes, this component, then it is good, it will work. So there is no problem with that. The spark mark occurred in the other device. Once we have taken the card to be repaired, where they changed the fuses, they changed the two fuses, they changed the components, or you have repaired it yourselves. Look how it turned out. It is time to test our card, if it truly works, so that it does not keep throwing that code of error, the CH05, which is the intercommunication error. Remember that one of all the causes was that the card is shorted. So now we will see if our card works. We make a bridge where the reactor transformer is connected, yes, between these two. Well now, with the 110 circuit we are going to do a test to protect it in case that this card fails. If we do the test and we see if this board truly turns on. We plug it in and we see that the board now turns on. There the LED can be seen and it already marks the error code for us, which means that this card is working perfectly in this case.